The most common question we get every day is, how's the market? I'm Adam D with the Local Connect and KW Realty, and today I'm going to share with you what I'm actually seeing in the real estate market for September 2023. Real quick before I jump into the market update, if you could please hit the subscribe button below, it would really help me. Every day and week I either run into somebody or get a phone call from someone who's asking me, how's the market? So it's getting a little repetitive, but we continue to see low inventory, meaning there are a few homes available for sale. And the nice condition, well-priced homes are still getting multiple offers and selling very quickly. It's still a great time to sell if you're a seller, and if you're a buyer, it's still a great time to buy, and you still have to be competitive because you know that you're going to be competing against other buyers. We're also seeing a lot of buyers who are waiting to buy because of interest rates being higher, and they're waiting for rates to go down. Now we'll see that could actually be a risk of prices going higher. One of the reasons that inventory is so low is a lot of homeowners that have low interest rate loans are actually waiting to sell because they don't want to sell their low interest rate loan in order to buy another home at a high interest rate. And they're actually staying in their homes longer and perpetuating this inventory issue. So let's jump into the numbers and take a look at what's happening overall in our country as well as locally here at the shore. All right, jumping right in, you've heard me talk all year about us having fewer transactions, inventory being down, and therefore less listings on the market. Now, we're very cognizant of what happened last year and the year before. We're calling them the unicorn years, the crazy years of 2020, 2021, and even 2022. So I wanted to look back at more normal real estate market years, such as 17, 18, and 19. And even comparing to them, there are far fewer active listings in the month of August, just last month. So these are the number of listings currently active on the market as of August. And this is a look at new listings, or the number of properties that came onto the market during the month. So we're catching up a little bit. There's a few more properties that came onto the market, but we're still very low compared to even the normal years. And it's significantly lower than those unicorn crazy years of COVID, we'll call it. And again, talking about existing home sales receding, so there's less properties selling, and we're looking across the entire U.S. We happen to be in the Northeast, which has seen even further decline than other parts of the country. Average is down 16 to 17%, and here in the Northeast, we're down by 23, 24%. Locally here, it's closer to 30%. There's a lot of reasons for this inventory issue that we're having happen. One of them is interest rates, right? The fact that somebody may own a home with a 2 to 3% interest rate, and they don't want to sell because then they're going to have to buy a home, even if it's a second home, at the much higher 7 to 7.5% rate or whatever it may be at this time. And that's just one reason. COVID's another reason. And even just low inventory in itself perpetuates less people moving or staying in their house. So it used to be that somebody would sell their house about every 6 years. And now we're seeing just over 9 years. If you take the average out of both of these periods of time, it's about 8 years. But we are seeing a trend where people are owning their homes for a longer period of time, which again makes this inventory issue we're having even worse the longer that somebody holds on to their home. Now jumping into home pricing, you saw me show this a few times over the year, what some of the leading economists or experts thought was going to happen with home prices this year. And just about all of them thought that there was going to be some type of decline in pricing over 2023. And throughout the year, all of these have actually changed their forecast to indicate either prices are going to stay the same or prices were going to go up. And we have seen prices go up, but a modest uptick in pricing compared to what we saw the last few years. We think this will continue, by the way, through the end of the year, and we'll probably see some, 3, 4, 5% appreciation, very normal appreciation through the end of the year. As we transition into interest rates, you've probably been hearing in the media and the headlines about inflation, and we did see this spike in inflation, and from what the feds are telling us, inflation has cooled and it's on its way down. And what we did was we looked back in history and compared inflation to mortgage rates. And what we saw is mortgage rates is the green line here, inflation's the blue line, and usually mortgage rates will follow a number of months or even years after inflation. So when inflation goes up, months or years later, mortgage interest rates go up. And when it comes down, again, months or years later, it will come down. And we're starting to see possibly history repeats itself again, where we saw inflation spike over the past year. Now it's on its way down. And a lot of experts think that the same thing will happen with mortgage rates in the near future. In fact, This is what some of the projections are from Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtors, predicting that we're going to see interest rates decline even the end of this year, but more significantly into the next year. I don't know for sure what's going to happen, but the one thing I do know and really believe is that if rates go down and they get into the mid-sixes, certainly if they get into the fives, I think prices are going to shoot up and go even higher, because there's a lot of people waiting on the sidelines right now that are going to get back into the market the moment those rates drop. So taking a more local look at a market right now, these are the number of buyers walking through the door and looking at houses for sale. This year is the orange line. We have this crazy line up here of 2020 during COVID, and our orange line is still pretty close to 2022 and 2021, and despite the fact that we have actually even less houses on the market. So we still have a really good number of buyers walking through the door and seeing homes for sale, of course, despite there being fewer homes for sale. And this is the same trend we've seen over the last 3 years now. And a lot of times what we'll see here is heading into the end of September, showings will spike up. They're a little bit low here during the holiday weekend that we just had for Labor Day, and then they'll trail off kind of in the end of the year during holidays. But we're still seeing a really good number of showings. So if you're thinking about selling your house, you're going to have a lot of people and a lot of buyers that want to look at it. And if you're a buyer, you're going to be coming across other buyers. You're not the only person interested in the house in today's market. Now, Atlantic County, we're still seeing these seller market conditions. Average months of inventory is 2.5, very much a seller's market. Again, a neutral market is 5 to 6 months. So inventory would have to about double in order for us to kind of neutralize the market. And, this past month, listings are selling very, very close to asking price, almost for 100% of it. And so here's a better look at the inventory conditions, and hasn't been any significant changes, but you can see it's much lower than it was in 2019, that's for sure. And we're going to take a look at the same thing in Cape May County. They're at 3 months of inventory, a little bit higher, but same conditions. We're really seeing the same thing. It's very much a seller's market. Inventory staying about the same. On average, we're seeing about 20 to 30 days on market. A lot of that had to do with the summer a little bit, some rental properties hanging around longer. Anything that's in nice condition and priced well is still getting offers within the first week or even the first couple of days on the market. So if you're a buyer, no, you have to take a look at these houses soon, particularly if you think it's in nice condition and priced well. I guarantee you somebody else thinks the same. And if you're thinking about selling your home, there's still very little competition, meaning you might have the only house like yours on the market, which means that the market's going to respond very well and you're going to have a lot of interested buyers. So there you have it. That's exactly what we're seeing, not only in the United States, but as well as here in South Jersey and the Shore area. If you need more help or you want a specific analysis for a certain area, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm Adam D with Keller Williams, and I'll see you on the next one.